Hi guys, I would like to say that within these last few weeks, I have learned so many more new things. I feel like my speaking has gone just a tad bit better. I'm still learning. This has definitely been a process. I've never had a speech class, so this is my very first. I still get very anxious when I'm talking in front of people, and I know everyone's about to watch, so I'm a little anxious. I'm gonna start to ramble, but I can do this. I'm going to start by describing the main points that I found from communication, public speaking, communication skills, and leading and working on a team. I thought there was many things in the book that were helpful and that would benefit me in my future career, but there were some that I thought kind of were a little above what I also read. So, let's start with communication. Communication is talking. Talking is something that is irreversible, so when you say things, they cannot be given back, which is difficult for some people. This is what you use every day to send messages. You use communication to send messages. Communication skills are very important for your future job, for my future job as well. It affects my abilities to work and communicate with others, so being a team player. It plays a part in my decision making, problem solving, planning, organization, and obtaining and processing information. Communication is very important because I feel as if everything ties together, but I'll explain more later. Communication is definitely the start. If you are unable to communicate and get your point across, will you even be able to get hired and talk to people to, get your job done? Another thing that was tied in with the communication was the adaptation of working with different kinds of cultures. This was very interesting. We actually did an assignment over that. So I picked different cultures, and I found out that there were some that don't um, give handshakes to women. And I read in the book that uh, one of the one of the writers wrote that they were in a meeting, and when they used the red pen to write everyone's name, the people that they were meeting with thought it was a sign of death because that's what it was in their culture. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's very important to do study and research over future cultures that you will later come in contact with. The next chapter is covered for public speaking. This definitely what I needed. It's been hard to use these new tips, but they're in my brain somewhere, and I will start to use them and benefit from them. Planning a presentation is something that can take up to 2 hours, and now that I read that, it definitely does not take it to 2 hours. I feel as if presentations could take up to days because, as you tell, my thoughts are so rambling, and I needed more than 2 hours. This there are certain kinds of presentations that are for events. Those can be like giving an award, presenting an award, accepting an award. But even though there are different kinds of presentations, they are all within the same planning. The planning, the structure, support, and strategy are all the same to develop a great speech. It is also new to me to learn how important the audience was to the thought process of speeches. Never have I thought that people really thought. Never have I thought that people would think so much of their audience. But in the book, it's very important. It's very important to know the size, what your audience knows, and what your audience doesn't know. And when I read it, of course, at first I'm thinking, no, this is baloney. But your audience is definitely a key factor to people liking your speech and agreeing to your speech. Within your speech, as I said, you need support. So there are guidelines for verbal support that you need. Of course, there was support is something that you would get when you're needing proof to back up information that you're stating. The delivery of your presentation was another thing that was helpful to me. As you can tell, I'm very nervous and anxious. I'm still very bad at this. I have trouble rambling during speeches, but there were tips and paragraphs on how to avoid and stop the rambling. I feel as if I ramble when I'm unable to get my points across and get my thoughts organized. Like I said, when you throw things such as this together in 2 hours, it does not benefit. The only thing you get is rambling. Um, okay, so let's go on to listening. Listening was another key factor to career success. Um, you, if you are unable to listen to anybody, you really won't make it anywhere in a career. In school, listening in school has been very important to me. That's how I get past my deadlines and get things done. If I'm unable to listen, then I'm unable to do anything, really. Though listening can seem an easy factor to things like this, little mistakes can happen when you don't listen, such as false assumptions and missed deadlines and missed times and missed meetings. Listening definitely is a really big key factor, as well as communicating. If you cannot communicate and listen, you might struggle a little bit on the career side. There are also new types of communication, which would be verbal and nonverbal communication. I know we argued about nonverbal even being a type of communication. Of course, I argued and said it was not, because it's so easy to be unclear and get messed up whenever you're not actually using words, I would think. But after reading chapters of nonverbal facts, it was interesting to know that many people do use nonverbal ways of talking to get things across, and such as a face remark, and it says 1,000 words. Sorry. And the last thing that I had was teamwork. Teams share a common goal. There are two different types of teams. There is a virtual team and a face-to-face team. Virtual teams are kind of like you and I right now. Well, sort of. This is like teams that communicate over the internet or computers and FaceTime, and they work together to share a common, get a job done, share a common goal. So our goals together are to finish this speech class and do great in it. Face-to-face ones are where you would probably attend meetings, and it's probably I find face-to-face interactions and meetings to be easier. When it comes to virtual, I've had a few online classes before. I feel like people have a hard time communicating over the internet, and it's just harder to get things processed because then you're rambling like me. This mini semester was very beneficial to my future job, and I feel as if everything ties together. If you're able to listen, then you're able to work on a team. If you're able to be on a team, then it's easy to, you have like practice of communicating with others, so then that helps your communication skills. And it just all ties in together, and once you have it all, you are able to do anything, really. Thank you.